goal here is to like talk about developing website. But before getting into the detail, since in the early stage you have like much more attention and the later part you might be sleeping, so I will introduce myself in a little bit visual way. You definitely got a little bit introduction about me, but if I'm not doing what I am doing most of the time, organizing sessions, talking about JavaScript and all this stuff. And other than this, before actually COVID time, I used to jump from the sky because there was nothing better than this. And then also was doing some running because this is a very good way to stay away from home. And then if I'm not doing all this stuff, I used to like to have a 10,000 volt shock. And this is really shocking. So if you need like more shock in your life, let's have some 10,000 volt shock. Definitely I like to share whatever the limited knowledge I have. And this was all good before 2020. And once this 2020 started, things take a little bit turn. So I get inside my closet, pretty much similar setup, and spend pretty much day and night over there and focused on the mobile app. And it's grew a little bit. We are close to 1 million users for this. And 2020 also put some focus on YouTube channel. And feel free to check out those. And this is pretty much what I do. Welcome back, everyone. Today would be an interesting day because so far we were dealing with static stuff. Like we were kind of like rigid and wasn't able to deal with real world. If you log into Google, Gmail, or Facebook, or anywhere else, every time you see different thing because it's some stored data based on you. And the same thing is true if you log into your Facebook or anywhere, because some dynamic things coming once you log in there. And those dynamic things doesn't matter whether you are using your computer or you are borrowing your grandma's laptop or phone. If you just log in, you see the data. That means the data that you are using is not related or is not dependent on your computer. Because if you log into the Facebook, it's somebody else's computer, you see exactly the same thing. And why that is happening? Because data doesn't store, or whatever you are using in your phone or your computer doesn't sit on your computer, it sits somewhere else. And then you can use it. So that's the thing that we would be using today. And for that purpose, we will start with a very simple thing. And then we will start going to some other thing, how we load the data from internet and how we can do some fun stuff and do some exciting things with music using JavaScript and a little bit dynamic thing. So let's get started. And the first thing I will do, will use this browser to recap some of the core part that we used before. So if I go to the inspect and then go to the console, there would be just recapping a few things. And the first thing is, if we declare a variable, usually if the value of the variable, for example, number, I'm declaring a number, and if the value of the number doesn't change in my application, I don't reset it to something else. If I set value to 7, it stays to the 7. It doesn't goes to like a 67. In that case, we declare the variable like const. And then it could be number, what is the name you give, and it is 7. That's how you declare a variable. If some case it needs to be changed, then we declare it as like a let, something like that. That's the first thing. And second thing we already did before is called a function. So to declare a function, you type the function. There is 2 ways you can declare a function. One is this way, function, and it takes a parameter. For example, it has a name. So like double my input, something like this. It can take a parameter. So number is taking a parameter, and then inside it, it can do stuff. One thing it could do is like a console log the number, and then you multiply it by 2. And this is how you declare a function. And you can call this function like double my input, and then you pass some parameter. For example, you are passing 45 as a number. In that case, you get 90 because inside your
Yes.
function, you are.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you double it, you will see the double result. So that's how it's a one way of declaring the function. There is a little bit different way you can declare a function, and that is similar to like declaring a variable. And you said like, okay, double my input to or something like this, and equals to, you take a parameter and something like this number, and then you use this notation. And this notation is called arrow because it looks like a something and then a is equal sign and a greater than sign, and makes it looks like an arrow. And inside it you can do the same thing, console log number multiplied by the 2, something like this. And if we do this, I already declared this variable, so we declare console log unexpected syntax. So you can do like a few other way, because we declared like constant, something like this. So double 2, now this time I give like say maybe 87. So if you do this, it is like 174. So there is 2 different way you can declare a function. Like this is one way, and this is called ES6 way. So if you see like this kind of thing anywhere here, you think this is a function. This is just a different way, shortcut way declaring a quick function, and it could have like a multiple lines. In that case, you use a second bracket. We'll be looking into that thing frequently. And the last thing before we get into the gist of our today's discussion, I want to learn something called like how you can make a dynamic string. By default string, for example, I declare a variable, say like constant name equals to, I usually write something like this. It's like my name is Jhankar Mahmood, something like this. So this is the way you declare a variable. But for some reason, you want to declare a more string where you could insert some kind of like a variable like this. In that case, you can use something called template string. Just think it like a way that you are declaring a dynamic string. So I have one variable, maybe age is equals to 25, maybe constant a, and then maybe money, that how much money I have is like 25. Maybe constant is like my favorite food, or maybe food is equals to maybe pasta, something like this. So there is like multiple variable, and I want to declare a string using all these variable, and it could be a long string. So it could be like a constant about me. And here, instead of single quote or even double quote, we'll start with something called a tick. And if you look into like next to the escape key on your keyboard, you will see something like not exactly single quote, but it's kind of like a tilted. It's kind of like a tilted one, and that's where you start. And then it will end exactly the same thing. So you start this and end the same thing. And inside it, you can write anything, say like, okay, I am trying to explore JavaScript. My name is, here you want to use this variable. This variable name is name, and its value is this. So my name is, so the way you will do it is you will put like a dollar sign, and then inside 2 second bracket. And in that, inside this, you can declare the variable name. So what it will do, whenever it would be creating this string, it will know that this is a dynamic variable. It will take the variable value and put inside it. And you can add, my name is, I am, say for example, this is my age, so like an years old. So here inside I will put age. So it's very simple. You put like a dollar sign and then second bracket, and you put like any variable. And I like to eat, and then again I would like to like food, pasta. Though I don't have enough money, I only have this, the money I have. So something like this. So you got the idea that you are creating a long string, or it could be short string, doesn't matter, but you can inject another variable inside it, and that's the idea. And if I do this now, if I look into about me, you see my name is, this is generating a complete single string, but it has some all this dynamic variables. If they could have like a different variable value, and it would be putting this value. So that's all. So quick recap, we know that we can declare variable with constant most of the time if we don't reset the value, and then we can use function, and then if needed we can create this type of a string for our case. Now we will start looking into some dynamic thing. So the first thing we will know that, okay, where we can get data. Ideally, the data is stored in another computer, is connected with an internet. And that's how, like in the Facebook, or if you don't have internet, if you try to use like a Facebook, you're trying to use Gmail, it doesn't work because it is not able to connect to the place where it is stored. That's why you need internet. You need to pay some guys, hey, give me some internet, I will give you money, and then they will allow you to go and access data stored in Facebook data center or Facebook server or wherever it is. So in our case, our example, we would be using mostly data created by some other people. And later of this workshop series, we will be creating our own data and we'll be consuming our data, and we'll know that how we can create our own data and host it in a server and then use in our application and do all this cool stuff. But since we are in the early stage right now, we'll be using other people's data. There are so many different ways you can get those data, but one of the common place people uses, for example, is called the JSON placeholder. So if you go to the JSON placeholder, it gives you some fake REST API data. And if you need to use it, the very simple way you can use it by using this. All you need to do is to call some JavaScript function called fetch, and then you give from where it wants to load the data. Usually this is called an URL. And once you call the data comes as a text format. You need to convert to a format that you can use, and that format is called JSON format. JSON is nothing but a JavaScript object. So if you convert it to JSON, you can use it as like a JavaScript. If you don't convert it, you will use it, you will get it as a string, and you'll not be able to access like an object property and all these things. And then finally, you can do anything you want. Here they are showing it as an output. You can do other thing. So just to try it, we will take this one, or even you can run it here to see how this output look like. So this is how this output look like. So you're calling this place and it's giving you to do. You can look into this. It's like a website, like an http.facebook.com, something like this. So they have like a JSON placeholder typecode.com. So this is their website, and then this is the location they're looking for, and they're passing something. Not only that, you can use like some other, say for example, you need 100 posts for your, like in a Facebook post or something like this. You can click on this, and these are the data you would be getting. And if you want to try it little bigger, something like this, every post has a title, has a body, and they have more. So like you need like an comments for some social media. In that case, this is the comment, like this is the person's email, this is the comment body, and this is the name of the person. This is just not a real data. They created some data so that anybody can use it. This is some like an album, some photos. This is the to-dos, the 200 to-dos of the task that you wanted to do. Something like that. Okay, this is some auto-generated test, and finally this is like some users information. So this is like, so these are the name, username, email, and their address, and few other things. So you got this overall idea, and using it is very simple. All you need to do this 3 lines of code. So now we will try to do what we wanted to do using some coding. So we'll go to our favorite Visual Studio Code, and then you can create some projects if you want. So I will do something very simple right now. See, to maybe open a folder. Then in practice, we'll do like an API practice. So we'll do this, and then API practice, and then all we need to do is to create a file, index.html we created. And if we want to create a quick HTML template, just we press the exclamatory sign and then tab, it have this. So we can do it in two different ways. We can have a like a JavaScript written inside HTML. For that purpose, we'll take like a script tag, and inside the script we will put those stuff. So whatever they provided us, we do this. We come here, and then inside the copy we paste it. That's it. If that doesn't look good, Alt Shift F. If you press Alt Shift F, this would be like little bit formatted. And if you want to see something in your website, you can write definitely here H1. Look, mama, I am learning API, something like this. Now you can right click on this guy and then open with live server. And if you go to this, you see like the text is here. And if you right click inspect, you can go to console and you see something here. If you reload it, you'll see this data. That means console log, right? This is the data. And if you want to see, make sure that this is the data you are doing. It's like a loaded data, and then put a comma here. Say this guy, come here. You said like a loaded data, and this is the user ID and all these things like the title and few other things. If you want to use like some other APIs, like for example, all the post, you just need to open the post they have here. So for example, maybe these are the post. You just Control L, copy the URL, come back here and then change it. So this is the URL. Inside the single quote, you paste this. So this is the URL. It will go and get the data. Now, if you go to here and you already see like these are the hundreds data is loaded. And you see like this is the user ID, this title and detail information. So it's a collection of data that's loaded from there. And same thing you can do easily for users. If you want to do the users, you come back here, take the URL, copy the URL, come here, and then you post it here that I want to see the users. You come back here in your website, and then you will at the bottom of it, or you can just collapse this guy and you have like loaded data. This has like 10 users. Users has the name, username, their email address, and all this fun information. So how we can make it like a display in the UI, because user will not go to the website and go to the console and see it. Instead, they would be doing it. Viewing stuff here, and showing stuff is very simple. All you can do here is that like you can declare a function display users, and then this function can take some parameter, for example users, that the information you want to take. And here, instead of console log JSON, all you can do is to like a display users and pass the JSON data. In that case, whenever you're loading the data, then it's converted to JSON, and then it will call this function. And to prove it, you can do like a console log, and you can say like a inside my function, and then you are putting the users. Save this guy, go to the website, and then look in the console, you see inside my function. That means it's loaded data and came here. Now, to show this, there are so many different ways you can display. You have complete freedom, write any HTML. So initially we'll do a simple way, then we'll do in a little bit a better way. So simple way is you declare, say, for example, I want to show all the list of the names of the users, right? That's it. So I create an UL, right? Unordered list. And then once I have the unordered list, I need to find it from JavaScript. To find it, the easiest and simple way is give this some ID. So for example, say user, this is our user container, something like this. So we'd be able to get this user container from this function. And for that purpose, we will use our previous knowledge that this is our user container equals to document, which is your JavaScript document dot get element by ID, and this is the ID you'll be providing. So okay, don't do any typo, then you'll be in trouble. User container, copy this guy, and inside this pass this ID. And you can, if you want to see it, you can do console log user container to make sure you are getting is user container go to the website and then see the user container is loaded. It doesn't have anything, so it doesn't show anything right now, but at least you were able to console log it here. Once you got this container, think about what are the data you got. You got 10 different users. That means you need to either run a for loop or run a for each or something, and that would go to each of them and find some data and then show it to the UI. So a simple thing just needs 2-3 steps. That's it. So the simple thing is we already got the 10 users in the users parameter. We got where we need to put this guy. Now we need to go through each of them, and the easier way you can, if you have like a ES code generator code snippet, you can write like for each. That's the simplest way. And then you press a tab, it will give you some structure of writing for each. That's the simplest way. And your cursor is selected here. All you need to do that list of the items, that's the array you have, and you want to get each of them. When I say like for each mangoes I have, I want to take a mango and eat it, because if you have 20 mangoes, you would not be able to put all this in your mouth. If you are some kind of like a big giant person, that would be the exceptional. Otherwise, you need to take one, eat it, and then another one before your mom caught you that you are stealing all the mangoes for your all family member. So we will do exactly the same thing here. We have this one, so we'll type users, and then if you press tab, and you can give another name like a user. That means for every mangoes, you are taking a one single mango. Here, for every users, you are taking a one single user. Let's say we take out this to console log, and then we do a console log here to make sure what's happening here. So that should be console.log user. Save this guy, go to the browser and maybe reload it. You'll see each one of them is loaded. Previously, all of them was loaded once time. Now, each single of them loaded separately. And if you want, you can get actually user.name. Save this guy, go to the browser, maybe reload it. You see, you're just only getting the name. And if you want to just get the email, save it, go there, you'll see all the email is loaded. So what it's doing for each is that from your collection, it's taking each one of those and then loading them there. That's pretty much it. So once you got this part, it becomes very easy for you. All you need to do is to create a list item, set the text and put it to the URL. That's it. It's 3 simple steps. First, create a list item. So we'll do like constant li is a list item, and this would be in the document. All we want to do is document.create element. So we're going to create an element, and that would be an li element. So what we are doing is using JavaScript, we are creating an HTML element. And then for the li, we are setting in dot inner text. What would be the inner text? That email would be the inner text. It could be like an user.email. You are creating the li, you are setting the text. At the last piece, you need to tell, hey, user container, you need to add this list item. That's it. That's it. So it could be like user container dot append side. That means you're adding a side. That's it. And you're adding the li. That's it. So look at this. What you did like 3 lines of code, or altogether is like 5 lines of code. You has a container here. You are getting this container, and every users you have, you're getting one of them, and you're creating an li, the list item here, dynamically using JavaScript. You're setting the text, and then you are adding to the container. That's it. Save this guy, go to the browser, you see, it has like all these things. You can do some template string here. So like inner text, it could be, say here, dynamically you can do that we saw a few minutes before. It could be, so for example, name is equals to $user.name, and then with email, and then that could be this part dynamically. You can create that. That's super easy for you. That would be $user.email. So if you do this, save it, now go to the browser, name, this is dynamic, with email, these, and if you want to like put like phone number or all other information they have, email address, username, or even you want to from the address, you want to get the zip code, something like this, or the city. Oh, let's put the city here. So living in, where is this data? I think look into this. This is a user object. Username is directly property of this. So you are able to user dot, this is your user, think about it. But your city is not directly property of this object, rather it's the property of address. So from the user you go to the address and then you get the city. That's it. Living in, you can exactly do that. Living in user dot address dot city. So if you do that and go to the website, you'll see like living in wherever the city is, like they're living, you're getting the city name as well. So you got pretty much the idea, and it doesn't have to be like an always UL. It could be like a big div. So here I might be wanting to like a div, big div, and this is a div, and we just change it. So your container is still remains the same ID, so you're accessing the same ID. And here, instead of a list item, you can create a div. And to create a div, this is the name you give. You can give like any other, so like single user, user div, any name you want to provide, doesn't matter. But here you will define what type of elements you want to create, and it could be like a div tag, like the div tag exactly using dynamic thing. And here in the user div, you can do this stuff. That would be like an easy. And then currently if you go there, it has like a bullet point because of li. Now we are not creating li anymore, we're creating a div, and plainly we are putting just some text, and then here we are in appending the child user div. So whatever the name you give, you add the text this way. So this is easier. You come here and then you reload this. You see there is no bullet point and there one single line. But we want to make it even fun way. So what we can do, we can create an instead of inner text, we can create like an HTML tag. This gives us the power of dynamic string. So what we can say, like, okay, I don't want text. Text is boring. I want like a dynamic HTML. And all you can need to do is to maybe let's get rid of this, that we will recreate it. Instead of inner text, we will set inner HTML. Now we are doing the HTML, and we put like dynamic string like this, and you can do it like a multiple line, doesn't matter. So what I did, I just declared an dynamic template string caret, and here I say, look, okay, this HTML inside this div would be maybe there would be like an h1 tag, right? And there will be, I would put like a, maybe we'll get an h3 tag, and this will be an h3 tag, and here dynamically I will put the user.name. So that's, you're creating an HTML tag. And if you inside it, let's get another one, and then we'll go there. So this is where we are putting a paragraph, or maybe do like an h5 and the slash h5. Here you select a email is equals to this $user.email. And here the last one, let's do that one, and then we'll go a paragraph and slash paragraph. This would be living in, that's city. That was like user.address.city, something like this. So now if we save it, go to the browser, you see, now you see like big text, medium text, regular text. If you want, you can put dynamic class and those kind of things. Not only that, if you want to use like Bootstrap, so let's go to Bootstrap. You can use the Bootstrap here as well. So I'm going to the Bootstrap, get started. All I need to do, if I have internet, I can use this CSS. So I copy this guy, and here to here, here just put the string. So you have the CSS. Now come look into this website. This is your website looks like, and I'm not adding any class or anything. This is how it looks like. I came here, I save this guy, I come here. Now it looks different, right? They put like a default style, and you can do like a border. You can convert it to a card, whatever you want, just if you need to. So here, if I go to components, for example, and I need a card, that's super easy. I will get a card, something like this, or even I can do even much more fun thing to let's say get like a multiple card of user. Now say, let's see CSS, this has like a 2 card. You see like this has a row and each of them has a like a column 6, and then it has a card, right? So this is your container and each elements you are creating, and then everybody has a card. We can do the same thing. So the parent one has a row class, right? So what we can do here, we do mimic this here. This one, we add a class row. So that's, we did this part. And then every item we are creating has a column, a small 6, something like this. So we are creating a div here. It's a user container, and we're creating a div here. So we can set like an user div dot class name, and that equals to this column 6. So you're creating this div and it has a class name. And for this dynamic card, this card, make sure like this is a div and this is the ending div. You select the similar number of divs. So you have like 2 starting div, 2 closing div. You copy this guy, and instead of your this text, you can put this text from Bootstrap. Very easy. And if you want to indent it, you can just indent like this way. And in the title, now you can put some dynamic thing. So what I want, $user.name. And here, maybe there's some text. And here I put like maybe $user.email. And then go anywhere. Maybe we will just go somewhere other than somewhere. In the bottom, we want to put like a $user.address.city. That's pretty much it. Now we save this guy, we go to our browser, and you see every user has a card. Very simple, right? So you create a card and go their city dynamically. And that's the power of loading data and then displaying it in the UI. And you can do like a much more fun thing using this. So, but this is good as a beginner stuff, but we want to do something that's much more interesting. So that's for that purpose of what I will go to Programming Hero GitHub page. So we'll go to like, yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
I just one doubt. So what is the what is the significance of append? You use that line append.
Oh, I say sure. So that's a good questions. So append is like if you just look for it, so like a meaning of append, right? Meaning of append. And append, what does it mean? You want to add, right? So you are adding. So think about like you have a new envelope or a box that you want to ship. What do? You add a stuff. So when you add a stuff to a collection, that's what is like append. And what you are appending, you are appending a child of this parent element. So this is your box, the container, which contains all this child. And we can do another thing actually. Let's do that since you asked these questions, like do here. If you just right click, inspect, and you go to the element, you'll see nobody knows that you added all these things dynamically. You see, this is as if you're plain simple HTML. This is your all single items. So when you do append child, you are adding all this. This is the 10 for every elements you have, you are adding those in the container of the user container. So for the first one, it came and it added this card, and inside it, it's dynamically replaced the text of like Leon Graham or whatever the name, and go this one. It's appended. That means it's added it to the container. Where it's added it, whatever was in the left side. In the left side was user container. What is the user container? This is the item user container here. With this ID, and this is the div you created. So append is just plain adding to some place, some HTML element. And what you are adding here, you are creating, this is where you are create element, and you're giving some class name. If you need one or multiple, you can give it. And then this is where you are declaring your dynamic way. And if you look into this card body, and this is the div with column 6, this exactly the same thing. Like everyone has a like a column SM6. This is your column SM6, a div, right? And it inside it has the card body. Inside this, it has the card, and inside the card, it has the card body. Inside the card body, it has card title, card text, and this anchor button, something like that. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Makes sense.
Okay. Any other question before we go to the next part?
Yes, sir. So this is a part of the function only, no? This line of code append. The whole
Append
function.
is like is not part of the function, rather it's part of the JavaScript DOM. So
Okay, sir.
this is JavaScript has something is called push. You can push item to an array, something like this. So
Okay,
it's
sir.
very
Yes,
similar,
sir.
but it has some extra part of it, because it needs to do like add something to the UI and display it, right? So that's why it's like
Yes, sir.
I'm appending a child of this element. So anywhere here, anything inside anything is considered as a child. So for example, inside the body, this H1 is a child, this is a child, this is a child, this child could have, for example, your grandfather, this is your grandfather, and
Yes, sir.
maybe your one of uncle is single, never married. That's the person. This another person is married and has children and then grandchildren, all these things. So
Yes, sir.
when you say appended children to a particular element, is adding to that element. So here body, if
Okay.
you append to the body, it be added to the body, all these things. I did appended, added it to this one. That's why it's added there. And how I decided that it should go here, because I said, okay, find that element with this ID. If I did with another one, so for example, I have like a two other div and I take out this, for example, I copy this to multiple, and this is, say, for example, this is one, this is two, and this is maybe like three. So still I'm finding only this guy, right? So it will
Yes,
not
sir.
insert this, or not this, not this, it will
Okay.
only insert this. We save this
Okay,
guy.
sir.
You see like 1 2 3, nobody has these children, and only this guy, and that's how I'm adding all this child inside this one.
Makes sense. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, any other question before we get to the next part?
Yes, sir. So basically, sir, we were using JavaScript to access the HTML and to
Yes,
make changes.
exactly.
Okay.
So you are using JavaScript to access the HTML, and we are creating using JavaScript to create HTML. Previously, what
Yes,
we
sir.
have done was like we are writing all this deep tag here, and then
Yes, sir.
I will get rid of this so that doesn't start confusing. But previously, what we were doing, we were like writing all this HTML, and they had like hard coded. If I had like 4, 5, or 10, I wasn't able to based on the data. Now, based on the data, think about in Facebook, you don't know what data would be next time you log in. It could be like somebody is getting married, somebody going for hiking, somebody's having breakfast, those kind of thing. Next time, maybe
Yes,
they
sir.
are having a lunch or something. You don't know. So they need to generate and those
True.
thing in the UI based on the data somebody posted. If your friend is
Yes, sir.
posting about an ice cream, that dynamically it has to show you the ice cream. It cannot show you like a morning breakfast every single time. You cannot hard code it in an HTML.
True, sir. True. Got it. Okay, sir.
Any other thing?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. So what we are trying to do this time is to do a little bit more practicals. Whatever we did is okay. It's not like something to impress someone. Hey, I did this. So we want to use this knowledge that we learned last 40 minutes, and we want to use that to make something little bit meaningful and practical as well. So for that purpose, we'll go to like a GitHub and then programming hero 1, and here you can find something. It has just some plain simple structure, would might take like a 10 minutes for you to generate, but we're going to start with that. And this is called hard rock. So if you go to like a hard rock, and if you want to the solution, you can get the solution later from here. But if you go to the hard rock, you'll see it has a very simple HTML website, nothing special, and it gives you some API link that you can get an API to search for music. For example, if you want to know, like I'm searching for music that has burger in it, or maybe music has like a love, romance, maybe dream, or multiple words, so like a summer of 69 or something like this, you should be able to find those songs in this one. So if you open this one, you'll see it has like a bunch of text. And if you right click inspect, and then there's one interesting place is called a network tab. And if you reload this, it will tell you that what if you called in some API, it will give you that detail information that what's data is loaded here. So if I make it a little bit smaller to see it, you see these are the data loaded. So data loaded. And if you expand it, you see when I'm searching using this text, hello text, and it's giving me like all this song, and song has like a preview, would be playing those music in our and then it also has the titles, it has like an artist information, that's what is this artist name, and those kind of information is available. Not only that, this could be dynamic. So for example, you're searching for some song has like a love. In that case, you will get like a different set of data, and then this data will tell you that, okay, these are the songs they have in their database or in their places that has like a love there. So for example, this title is like love, then it's double love or something like this, and these guys is like a single love, whatever. Like, you're loading the data and you'd be able to implement search. That's the fun part of it. And this is the API, and you can just if you want, you can to use it, you can download it right away, and then use this this guy. So let me open this. My file explorer. Oh, it's hiding there. Another monitor. Okay. So if I go to the download, so this is like this is the hard rock master. So you can just copy this guy inside the zip folder. You can paste it here, or if you want to do it, you can do it some other place. So let's do this here, hard rock master. Here, maybe rename it to something else. This is old, and then we do this one. So we had the hard rock master. And if you want to put it like somewhere else, you can do like somewhere else, maybe hard rock fun. And then we copy this in my practice folder where I was doing all the practice. So hard rock fun. Now I'm going to the Visual Studio Code, save this guy, and then open that folder. So where is this open folder? And then I am in the practice. So where is my hard rock fun? This is my hard rock fun. And if I look into this, it has it used Bootstrap, which is easier. We can use a Bootstrap, and then it has some HTML. It doesn't have any JavaScript. You don't see any like an script tag here, that has JavaScript. It has like external script tag and some HTML template that give you so that you can easily use it. And if you want to see it, so you can do like an open the live server. And you see like this is bare bone. It doesn't do anything. You cannot search here, say love song, something like this, and then you search this, it doesn't show you anything here. And that would be the fun thing we'd be doing. And then we also would be like playing the song in our browser right away. So for doing this, if you look into multiple part, this is like one div that has this is the header, this is the hard rock lyric search, hard rock lyrics search, and this is the button, this is the input text box, and this is like a purple noon. This is the sample that how it would look like for a single result. That's pretty much it. It doesn't have anything dynamic, so our job is to make it dynamic. And we can definitely write a script tag here, or most of the cases, if you start developing professional, you will create a separate file. And to create a separate file, you just click on this, and this will be your app.js, or you can give any other name. This is the name of the file. And to connect these two here, all you need to do is to type a script, and it will give you a script with a source. That means this script tag is only the script that you want to write inside your JavaScript, inside your HTML file, and this one is like connecting external, like all this one. So if I have this, I click on this, it creates a script tag with an src in the source, and I put the name of the app.js. To make sure this two is connected, this easy thing you can write here, console. Okay, let's do this, console.log, maybe some number 1 2 2 3 whatever, and we want to go to our website, and then we want to right click inspect and make sure that we get this in the console. And that's how we prove that whatever we write here, say here we do like whatever the number, we save it, we see in the console log, this two is connected to make sure. And once we get this connection, think about when you want to do this work. Ideally, in this case, you would be doing this work when users type something here and then click on this button, search button. Then you do some work. So we declare a function. This would be function, maybe search song. Okay, maybe I'll put this function search song, and then inside this it will do something. Maybe for now console log searching. And here inside in your HTML, what you can do is to find this search button, because when you click on this, you want to call this function, this search. So you need to find this search button. And if you just look into, this is a hard rock search. This is the hard rock search. This is the input text box. This is the input text box, and this is the button. So you know this is what you would be using. So here you can add, like, say, for example, directly on click. So on click, you want to call this like a search song. Make sure like their name is the same. If you use the same name, no spelling mistakes, search song, and then if you come here and you click on this button, you see like searching. Again, you see the searching. That means on click, you have connected this button with this function. So you write a function, and if you use the same name, it is connected. Think about what we will do when you click on this button. Our goal is to find the text you have written inside the text box, this text box, to find it and then do something using that. So how we'll get the text from here? If you want to find something from a specific element, we need to give them some ID so that we can determine this is that one. So we can give it some name like the search dash field, or you can like something like this. We put like search dash field. Here we will get that element. So the way we will do it, constant search, that is the search text or something like this, equals to document. So we're going to the document, we are getting the element by ID, and our ID is, we just wrote search field, and we want to get the value of it, just the value of it. So, and then here searching, and you can put like a search text. If you do this, now you go here, I make it a little bit bigger, get rid of all this. So right now I try to say maybe I want to do the song is like a black and yellow, and then you search for it, you see like searching black and yellow. And if you're searching for maybe summer of 69, that means you are able to get the text that your user is typing when they're searching. But that's not enough. What we need to do is to use this API. What this API link is this, and here you put the dynamic part of the text, and the example is like /hello. If you search for hello, and it will, the URL would be the hello. If you search it, this part dot would be the dynamic part. So you copy the URL since we got it, and we'd be calling then URL or something like by using it. And how we use it? Previously we have seen is like a JSON placeholder that or if you search for anything, say JSON placeholder, if you go to their website, you'll see all you need to do is to use this one. So you can copy this guy here, and we don't need this anymore. We put this, and here instead of this URL, you can either just create a URL here, say constant URL. And in our URL would not be this, we would be putting a dynamic URL using the search text. That means this is would be the URL. So we copy this, but here we'll make it dynamic. So here, and instead of this hard-coded search text, we'll be using this search text, the variable. And that's why anytime the value changes, this URL would be changes. So for example, we do this, and here instead of this hard-coded, we put the variable URL. And that's pretty much it. If you want to see the URL, you can console log it if you want. So let's do that, console log URL, or maybe loading data from something like this URL. And then it also load the data because it will be calling the fetch, and then loading the data here in the console log. So let's have a look into what we got. You see right now it doesn't do anything, because the way it will work is if type it, click on this search. So I'm getting rid of this. Here I'll be searching for maybe love, something like this. And or maybe do the one word, then it is here. Maybe forest, some song that has like a forest or mountain. So with the forest, we search it. You see loading data from the URL changes is like API lyrics suggest forest. Why it changes? Because we told that to take the text from the field and then create the dynamic URL text here, and then go and load this data. So, and then it went there and the load this data, and you see they loaded by default 15 songs. They have much more than that. Total, they have 300 songs, but loading only 15. And if you load this one, you see everyone title. Here is the title, or is this the title? Title has like forest. Maybe this one has like a forest of illusion, something like this in their song title. So you got this idea, you were able to load this data. Since you would be able to load this data, you can create another function to display this in the UI. That would be super easy. Select function display songs. And this display songs will take all the songs data, and then you'll do something. And one thing to be noted here is that directly they don't give you the data in an array. Rather, they're giving an object that has a property data. So that's why it is you currently showing is data, and inside it you are getting all these 15 things. And if you want like a next 15, you should be able to like load more, you have seen. And this is the way you can load more and do some advanced things, but we are not getting there today. Our goal is to load this data. So all we can do is to here console log json.data. If you do this now, come here, get rid of this, and then we should like again forest. We search for it. Now, once the data is loaded, now you get an array of data. You don't get like an data inside data because you are accessing just only in the data property. You got the 15 one, and this data is just your songs. So all you can do is say, okay, I don't want this here anymore. Rather, you don't need to console log. Rather, you go to the display songs, and it be coming here display songs. You can do console log here for now to make sure that you have the songs. So you save this guy, and you get rid of this dude and search for maybe winter, right? And then search for it, and the data, it takes few seconds for the data to be loaded. And after that, you're calling the display songs, yes, console log songs, yes. Let's see, let's do again winter. Oh, it came. It took a little longer because winter is cold anyway. That's why it took a little longer to load this data, but you got like all this song. This is the title, winter hall, winter light, winter traveling, something like that. So previously we knew that how we can load this data. This is, if you look into this, this is your search result, right? This means this is the ID you want to be putting data, and this is every single result. So this part would be dynamic, and this would be the container. And they give us one example with hard-coded text. So we need to inject all the children to this element because this would be the all the child. And you can create your own if you want, but they just give us easier way so that we can finish it on time. ID, this would be song container. So in that way, what we can do here, we can get song container, song container equals to document dot get element by ID, and you are getting the song container. So you're getting the container div. Once you get the container div, all you need to do is to get all the songs, and for everyone do something. So here we will use the shortcut for each. So if you do the for each, your collection name, the array name is songs, so it's songs tab, and single one is a single song. This is a plural. You have a collection of songs, and from there you are taking one single song, and they give you some structure here. And if you want to just see it, console.log every single song, so that you make sure you get the stuff. So here we'll do like maybe rain. Some song has like a rain. So here you'll get like on all the data is loaded, you'd be able to see it taking a little long, but this every single one is loaded. It has the title rain, and then few other things. So we got this part, and the next part is to create this div. So this is will be creating, and this would be our inner HTML. So we can do this stuff, and it has some class, a list of class. So we'll do that very easily. Inside this, our first thing is to create the every single item's div. The constant, this could be like a song div, something like this, and this would be document get element by so not get element, this would be create element. We are creating element, we are creating a div, and every div will have this class, right? This is the single item, and we'll have this class list. So we'll copy this guy as a class list. So what we will do, we will here we'll say like this song div dot class name, this is your class name. So you set the class name, and then song div, every song div dot inner HTML, and that would be our dynamic string that we'll be creating by using this structure, and that structure is these dot, like this and this dot. So we copy this guy, copy this, and then here we'll say like, okay, this is your copy, and if it's not indented correctly, you can do like an place it in that correctly, something like this. And you see, this is the song name in the UI. Currently, you see this is the song name, and this is the album by something, and it has some other button if you want to do a little bit. But this is the song, and this is album by somebody. And if you save this guy, and still it has the default placeholder. Since all would be dynamic, we can get rid of everything inside it. So if you get rid of this guy, so right now it doesn't have any. So if you stop this guy doesn't have any song. Our goal is to create it dynamically. So if we do it dynamically here, right now, we didn't make the text dynamic yet, but at least every one item for every song that you'd be containing, it would be creating a single song. So the first step is to get the container, creating the one item, and then set the inner HTML, and the last part is to append the child. So what we can do is to call like a song container. Hey, song container, you need to append a child, and that child would be song div. If you don't append it, it will not be added and it will not be displayed. That's it. So still we didn't make it dynamic yet. So, but we can come here and we can search for maybe summer or something like this. Search for it. And after it's loading, to make it better, we can add any spinner if needed, but we will wait a few more seconds for its loading. And then if it works, then we should be able to see some text here. You see, it took a little longer, but at least the same thing, because it's hard coded, we didn't made it dynamic yet, but we are able to see all this result at least. So make it dynamic. It's easily we can make it dynamic. So every song we can do console log here for now. Console log song to see what are the information it has. We know every song has a title anyway, so we can do dollar and inside the dollar song dot title. We put this one, and then we know if we look into this that every song, if we go to the console, maybe we search for hello or something here, and then once this hello is loaded, we will know that every song has a title. We already put the title, and every song has an artist, and inside artist. So this is artist, inside the artist has a name. So we can do like this is dollar. Every song has an artist has a name. An artist could have like if they are in a team, their pictures, and you can do a lot of different things here. But anyway, we got this one in a little bit dynamic way. So now if we come here, you search for like an hello, and you search for it, it will take a few seconds since we don't have any spinner. We can make it a spinner or something, some loading text while it's getting displayed, and then we can hide it. That's super easy, but we're not getting there right now. So we want to see the results a little bit dynamic. And then we want to do it. So it's a hello, we got it like by Adele, and Adele has a hello song and few other songs here. And this has like one simple problem. So for example, look into this bar here, and I search for another one. So for I am looking for the summer. If you search it, after a few seconds, data is loaded, this still remains here, and you will see that this will become smaller once this data is loaded. We can easily fix it. So it got like a smaller, and all the search result with summer is underneath it. So the ideal case would be that once you doing a new search, old search result would be gone. Otherwise, you would not be able to find the search result in Google if all the previous result is remaining there. So what you can do in the song container, say like every time you're appending, and you're not getting rid of old. So every time you call this search, it will eventually load the data, call this display songs. And once this display song is called, immediately you can select song container dot inner text or inner HTML is equals to empty string. That means you are clearing everything from there. So now we come there, we search for hello, and we will see the hello result. And then once this hello result is gone, then we search for like a summer result or some any other song. And then you see that hello result would be gone, and then summer result would be displayed once this data is loaded. So give it a few more seconds to load the data. And once this is ready, I would be doing a fun thing to have, you see like summer result. Now your hello result is not anymore. Now the result of the summer is here. And if you go to here, to here, and every song has a preview. That means you could actually play the song here. And that would be the most fun and exciting things here. And you can search for like here, like HTML5 audio tag. If you search for it, you can go to like any website. It could be like a this tag or this tag, doesn't matter. If you go there, you see like this is an audio tag. And you don't need all this stuff. Maybe here they have like even controls, this is source and code, a lot of things. Okay, you can take anyone, doesn't matter. So we copy this, and then we get rid of this guy, we get rid of this guy. All we can do inside this div or anywhere that you want to do, that say for example here we want to do this a preview. So what we need to do is an audio. This is an audio tag, and then it has an src source. Source, that means the where is the file here. And then if it doesn't exist, then it will tell you like some other things, it doesn't exist or anything, or for simplicity you can just get rid of it right now. So we'll just do something like this, maybe one single line as an audio tag. And here this is a hard-coded link, but every song has a preview. This is the link of the MP3. This is the song of like a preview of this MP3. That means this URL could be dynamic. All you need to do $, inside the bracket, this will be like song.preview. So if you do this, now we go to the browser, and then we search for here we are searching for, get rid of this, we are searching for hello song. And if you search for it, let's see how does it looks like, whether we could get a preview here or not. So it will give it like a few seconds to load. You see, this is a preview of the song. And if you know this Adele song and you can play it, so you would be able to load the song and hear the preview for free for pretty much every song. Has like a 30-second. It doesn't have to be like a song. It could be an artist you can search for. For example, if you like Adele, she might be hiding somewhere in UK or somewhere. But if you want to see her songs or any artist song, you could be able to search for, and this search loaded. And if you remember her Set Fire, something like this, you should be able to play it. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. If we take a quick summary of what we have done, is not much. Very simple way we learned how we can load data from any APIs by using the fetch. And if you need an URL, you can make it a dynamic URL. That's the easier part. And once you have like dynamic data loaded, you can call these, and you need to get the container where you want to put the data, and for each of the data all you need to do is to do just three things. First, create an element. It could be a list item, it could be a div, it could be h1, whatever you want. And if you need some class name optional, you can add this to look at fancy. But once you do the create the element, you put some either inner text or inner HTML. Inner text is just one single line of text, and inner HTML is a HTML, dynamic HTML. We created the song title, we created the artist name. Not only that, we created the preview of the song and how cool it could be. And the last part, whatever is the container you want to inject all this item, you just tell, hey, song container, you need to adopt some child, because adopting is easier. A lot of celebrities doing those adoption these days anyway. So you can adopting, and then you inject the element you created. That's pretty much it. And that gives you the power of an application that you can use it here. And it could be like say Linkin Park or anything you want to search. So you'd be able to search it, and you can find the search result. If there is some, you'd be able to display those in the UI. And not only that, you'd be able to play the preview. So that's all, my dear friend, to share with you. And for this session and the next session, we'll be going for an exciting part of using React. And if you want this solution, you can easily get this solution. Is in Programming Hero. If you go to the Programming Hero, I have slightly different and little bit extension of this task that we have been seeing, but pretty much similar. You should be able to get that one, Hard Rock Solution. And this is the app.js that we'll be talking. And here it was kind of like getting a little bit an arrow function. That's pretty much it. But creating the search text, fetching the data, and then display songs is doing the pretty much similar stuff. And it has little bit extra work that we weren't able to cover today. And that was the get lyrics. So if you click on the lyrics, you want to see the lyrics of the song. Like, sometimes we want to see the lyrics. And if you want to explore that part, you should be able to explore this part of it. It's not much. And then it could do like, if there is some error or something, it would be able to show the error. And then few fun thing, if you have like an error, how you display the error, those kind of things. So that's pretty much I wanted to cover. So back to you, Shahaj.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, one more doubt I have.
Sure.
Sir, in the API that we use, can you scroll a little upwards? Yeah, sir, fetch URL, and then, so what is why did we use this syntax? Dot, then response. Can you
Oh, I see.
explain this
Okay.
syntax, sir?
Oh, sure. Thank you. This was an important thing. So, for example, if you go to a restaurant and order a burger, what they do, they take the money. So, for example, you go to McDonald's or anywhere, you go there, you paid for it, and they disappear. They didn't give you food. They give you like maybe sometimes a piece of paper. Hey, you ordered a food, but you don't get the food right away. They go to the kitchen, they make cookie to find a gig, or that guy could like run away. He said, okay, I got the money. Now I am going to the vacation. That could happen like sometime McDonald's. So be careful anyway. So what is happening here is they give you like, hey, you paid me. Thank you. You're calling me. That's good. Wait, I will come back. And once the food is ready, I will give it to you. This way. Maybe they don't have any kind of like a busy burger. They might not have any chicken or anything. They go and find the chicken from somewhere and then process it and then give you the food. And then you get it in the box and you take it from the box and you're eating it. Exactly pretty much same thing. When you're calling some URL, fetching something, you're getting some data from the URL, it's going to the internet. Maybe your internet doesn't exist. You don't have any data connections. In that case, you are calling it, but it would not be able to go there. Or even you have the internet, but their server is down. There is electricity out on their server. It make a request, but it will not be able to get the data from there. So that's why it's like, if you get the data, then you do stuff. And this takes some time. So when we call it, you see there is a lag between when we call something and there is like a 30-second, 40-second delay. And that's what is happening here. It's calling it. And that's why a lot of websites add like a loader or a spinner. That means it's showing you the spinner and behind the scene going and loading the data. Once you get the data, by default, you get the data as a text. And once you get it as a text, after that, Once you get the text, and after that, you need to make it in the format of a JSON. If you don't get in the make of this is just an arrow function, right? You see an arrow. So it takes the response and convert it to a JSON so that you can consume it. Once you get the JSON, now you can do it. This means like once the food is ready, then they will deliver to you. And once it's delivered, you'll be eating it. And that's what is this then. This is an important thing. And if you want to explore, you can explore like JavaScript promise or JavaScript just fetch. It's like an easiest way to load data from some resources. It could be your own API, or it could be some external people's API if they provide permission. Some people doesn't provide permission. In that case, you need a special permission to load their data.
Okay, sir. So basically dot then is just like it's working in the fetch only. Like it is telling us to.
It works in few more things, like in it works mostly when you have like some asynchronous thing. Asynchronous means like things doesn't go immediately. So this one, it goes like line by line immediately. They don't need to wait for anybody, external things or anything. Here, since we're loading data from like not from my JavaScript, like somebody else server or something, then I'm doing it. So it could be happening in when you have like something asynchronous way. But for simplicity, for beginners, you can think about for the fetch, you can use them. Some other cases, you may able to do some this stuff or similar stuff in a little bit different way, like an async wait or promise or a few other things. But whatever you said, it could be taken if you are like a beginners, you can think on that way.
Okay, sir. Makes sense.
Any other question?
No, sir. So one thing I would like to know, so how do you suggest practicing? Like you taught us Bootstrap, sir, but like I've seen some people are really good with Bootstrap. So how do you like suggest us that we go about practicing this?
Yeah, practicing is like, first thing is whatever I showed, two things you need to do. First thing is like you do whatever I showed is you do along with me. Like I'm doing this, you do this. That's not your true learning. That's kind of like you're observing, you're seeing stuff. And the next thing is you don't watch this video and try to do the same thing using their websites or something else. And that's what is your learning. And that's your first part of learning. Second part of learning, okay, I saw maybe this is a song music APIs. There's a few other APIs. You can search for online that free APIs, right? Free open APIs, and you'll find something called REST countries. You can go to the REST countries and you say like, okay, this is all the country information you can load. This is the API. And if you load this, it will give you like every country's name in a data. This is the data. And now how you can show the countries. That's why you go to the network tab, you reload this guy, and then you see like, okay, these are the all countries name. Let's Afghanistan, and some point of here is like Cuba, and maybe like Gambia, maybe like Haiti or those other countries. So try first, watch it, practice it, the current one, then practice it yourself without the videos. You can use internet or Google or finding something else, but try to do the same thing. That's where you will struggle, you'll forget, and eventually if needed, come back to watch these videos. But your true learning is after these two phases, when you are trying something else, like REST countries. There are simple ones, it's called like maybe random user is another one. Random users, it gives you like a random username every times. They have some APIs. There is like board API. There is one for like Kanye West API. So there is like so many of those. So this is the API you call and gives you some random user data every single time. Gender different, country different, those kind of things. Another one is called like a board API. Board API is this, and you go there, and every time if you are bored and you submit it, it gives you like something different. Say start a garden, plant a tree. So you call this API and try to use it. This is the API you'd be calling. This is the API you'd be calling, and then practice it for multiple cases. And that's what is your true learning. And it will take time. It will not just watching one videos. You would not become comfortable with it. You need to spend time and think, and you will get stuck and then ask for help.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Any other question?
No, sir. No more questions.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for hanging out
Thank you
there.
so much, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, sir. It's
We'll
very
be in
fun.
touch.
See you next time, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Bye. Take care.
Thank you so much, sir.